Now that 21 out of a possible 24 away kits have been officially released, with 2 leaked and 1 of them still yet to be either, I thought it would be a good idea to go through all of the ones that have been either leaked or revealed and rank them from last to first. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So, I'm currently editing the video right now and I've just seen a post by a Birmingham City fan account where it's like a yellow version of the home kit basically. I showed it on screen and, you know, it's an alright kit. I do like the colour, but I think it is a bit plain. I think it works well with the home kit, if this is real, obviously. Anyway, bye. Starting off in last place is a kind of honourable mention almost, and I've gone with the Scumsy kit. This was released earlier today, and it's really, really good. I can't stress how good it is, but because of the team, I just can't rank it that high. You know, this would easily be a top 3, and I think if I wasn't as biased as I am, but, you know, I just can't rank it that high, and I'm not going to make myself do that, so it's an honourable mention. Anyway, let's actually move in. Starting off in 22nd place, I think it is. I've gone with the Stoke City away kit. Obviously, there's nothing here to look at. It's obviously camouflage, so you can't see anything. But in all honesty, the kit itself is terrible, isn't it? You know, they've gone for this kind of, I think it's a Spitfire-inspired design, which I think is a cool inspiration. But the way it's been executed is just terrible, isn't it? They've gone for like an actual camo design with green and like a car key almost, and it just looks terrible. To be fair, I do actually quite like the use of the blue and the red in the collars. I think that's a bit cool. But apart from that, there's really nothing going for it. To be fair, the badge does look quite nice in this one, but again, it's really crap, isn't it? It just doesn't work. 21st up next now, I've gone with the Derby away kit, and again, this is just really bad. I remember when this kit was released, I tried wanting to like it almost, but I just can't like this. I've never been a really big fan of pink kits. It's not brilliant that Cardiff's third kit is pink, but this just doesn't work, is it? This weird kind of, it's a nice pink to be fair, but they've gone for this weird kind of pattern. I think it's inspired by the stadium, if I'm sure, but it just doesn't really work in my opinion. And it's another one where the Puma template isn't brilliant either. It doesn't affect it that much, but I just don't really like it that much. 20th place up next, and we've got our first leaked one of the video, like with the Southampton away kit. Now this isn't, you know, confirmed that it's going to be the away kit. Usually kits aren't really like this, to be fair, so I'm a bit skeptical. But the kit itself is just crap, isn't it? You know, they've gone for this weird kind of blue and pink kind of marbled swirly pattern in the base, which I think is a bit different. It's a bit jazzy, but it just doesn't really work. Like I said in the previous one, the Puma template doesn't really lend it much features, although I am actually quite a big fan of the badges. I think that kind of like shiny, kind of silver coolness of it is very cool, actually. I'm a big fan of that. 19th place up next now, and I've gone with a very overrated kit in my opinion. I remember when this kit was first released, everyone was like raving on about it, but it's really not good in my opinion. I've gone with the Wrexham away kit. In my opinion, this is utterly terrible. The one good thing about this is the badge. I think the badge, the way that it's kind of been coloured to match the rest of the kit, does look quite nice, to be fair. But the rest of the kit is just terrible. They've gone for this weird kind of, it's not even a black, it's more like this kind of really dark grey. I didn't really actually think about this in the home kit video, but the sponsor doesn't really lend it much either. The pattern in the base either as well, it isn't very nice as well. It's this kind of weird looking design. The collar is definitely the worst bit about it, and overall it just doesn't look good in my opinion at all. Moving on to 18th place up next, I've gone the West Brom away kit. Now this is another one which is a bit lackluster. I do quite like what they've done with like the collars and the cuffs. I like that little white and red trimming. I think that does look nice. But overall it just looks a bit weird. You know, the badge is quite nice in its like monochrome version. The sponsor isn't brilliant, and apparently the graphic in the base is apparently inspired by the Black Country map. I don't really understand, I don't really get that reference, but please let me know how it is. But it's not that bad, it's a bit basic, but it's fine. 17th place up next, and I think it was actually 17th last time for the home kit, even for Bristol City. And they've released a really boring kit yet again. They've gone for this kind of grey, kind of scale one, almost using blacks and whites. You know, the base is this nice light grey. They've used some slightly darker grey in there, and also some blacks. It's a little bit better than the home one in my opinion, but it's still really boring. 16th place up next now, and I've gone with the QPR away kit. I think this has had a bit of hate, to be honest. I really like this kit actually. They've gone for this really nice lilac in the base, this nice lilac hoops, which obviously ties into the home kit. But still tying into the home kit, they've put some nice blue and white kind of stripes in the collar and cuffs, and I think it matches up nicely with the sponsor, and overall it looks very nice. Moving on after that now, and I've gone with the Blackburn kit. I think this is the most recent one to be released, and I think last video I got so much hate because of how I ranked the Blackburn kit. You know, I ranked it quite low, but apparently people wanted it higher. So I think hopefully this is in the right place for all of you Blackburn fans. But I quite like this, you know. It's a nice kind of simplified version of like the Crystal Palace third kit from last season. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of what that sponsor's done to it. I don't really like it when it kind of cuts off stripes and designs. There's a massive cut off, as you can see. It's not too bad. I really like the Blackburn logo in blue. I think that looks nice. Moving on to 14th up next now, and I've gone with the Middlesbrough away kit. Now, as Middlesbrough released all 4 of their kits in the same kind of block, this one was definitely probably the standout one for everyone. Maybe apart from the 4th kit, because that is nice. But this, I think it works quite nicely. The colours are kind of there. You know, they've gone for this white base mixed in with the same template as the home one. But in the template details and the collar and the little triangles on the sleeve, they put like these weird dots. I think it's inspired by something. I don't actually know what it is on the top of my head, but I should put a picture in of what it is inspired by. But I quite like it. They've also gone for a slightly lighter blue for the Castor and Middlesbrough logo, and I think overall it works quite nicely. It's clean. It works. I do quite like that dot pattern, and it kind of looks like a carpet. 13th place up next now, I've gone with the Millwall kit. I really like this kit. I think a lot of the home kit was very underrated. I think this is also quite underrated. They've gone for a nice white base, and they've used a bit of gold and a bit of navy, but obviously they've just used the Millwall lion for the badge, which I think is a bit different. I think it works well. Obviously, it ties in nicely with that bits of yellow, but at the same time, definitely stands out because it's a bit unusual. 12th place up next now, I've gone with the Lincoln home kit. I think, again, similar to the Lincoln home kit that I used in the home kit video, I think it's going to get a bit of controversy because I can't imagine people liking this. You know, the sponsor isn't brilliant, but I'm actually a big fan of this. I've got a feeling it's inspired by a castle, but, you know, it's really cool in my opinion. They've gone for this black base with this kind of grungy pattern in the base, mixed in with some nice bits of yellow that really pop through vibrantly on that black. I think that works really, really nicely. 11th place up next now, and I've gone with the Preston kit. This is again another one which I think is going to get a bit controversial, but I really like this kit. I remember when this first released, I really liked it, but it's clean. It just works simply. Blue base mixed in with some nice, really nice yellow. By the way, it's a really nice yellow actually. Used on the nice polo collar, sleeve cuffs as well, and I quite like the centralised badge, and I don't think this Budlow Rose looks too bad there. 10th place up next now, and I've gone with the Watford away kit. This is another one which was kind of a bit overrated in my opinion. I do quite like it, the overall design and lines. There's a lot of bits of the kit that I think are really nice, but when you put it together, it's not brilliant. I'm a big fan of black and red stripes, as you can tell, mixed in with a really nice template. You know, you can kind of see the little bits kind of cutting off around it. Centralised badges, which I also really like as well, and overall it's just a nice looking kit, but just about gets into the top 10. 9th place up next now, I've gone with the Charlton away kit. This is another one that's been leaked. It was leaked in a pretty bad image, so as you can see, I've kind of done like a render of it in EFC Kit Creator. Hopefully it kind of looks somewhat like it's going to be when it releases, but I actually quite like the look of this. They've gone for a kind of like a nice kind of red and off-white overall colour scheme, you know, using that ecru in the base. Nice bit of dark red in the collar and cuffs. I do quite like that collar as well, that nice kind of rounded bit, and a slightly kind of more classic Charlton red use as a kind of detail in it. Apart from that, there's not much else. There might be a little pattern in the base, but you can't really see it from the images, but I quite like it, you know, a bit different, you know, especially from what they released with their third kit, which is a bit more out there. 8th place up next now, and I've gone with the Mighty Cardiff City as away kit. And I saw this for the first time, I think it was last Saturday when I went to watch them against Roma, and I really like this. I think this is I'm a big fan of this one, definitely our best kit of the season. But I think it works really nicely. They are similar to the Charlton one. They've gone for a nice off-white base. They've mixed it in with some really nice blue detailing. Obviously the blue collar, blue sleeve cuffs, but they've also added a bit of red on top of that, which is a bit controversial, seeing as like when we were in the Premier League and stuff. But they've gone for a nice darker red as well, which definitely adds to it. And for the badge, I think it's the first time we've ever done this, but we've just used just the bluebird, and it's nice kind of block blue. It's not like details, but I think it works really nicely. I know it's a bit nitty gritty, but I really like how the sponsor looks in blue. I don't think we've ever seen it like that, but I think it works very nicely. 7th place up next now, and I come with the Portsmouth home kit. And I think this, again, is a really nice kit, similar to the Portsmouth home kit as well, which was kind of went on a lot of people's radar. I'm a big fan of this. To be fair, I do like yellow kits, so it kind of helps it out. But I really like this, you know, the yellow base mixed in with those nice bit of blue. The collar isn't brilliant, to be fair, but I really like that kind of subtle pattern in the base as well, and I think overall it works really, really nicely. 6th place up next now, and I've gone with the West Ham away kit. I think this is probably a less improvement, or the opposite of an improvement from the home one. But I quite like this, you know, it's got a nice kind of subtle hammer pattern in the base. Nice kind of claret and sky blue trim along the collar and also in the cuffs. And also I've seen New Balance kind of using this older logo for their away kit, which is a bit of a shame now that Cardiff have moved away from New Balance. But I quite like this, you know, I think it works nice. The colours are nice. I like the use of just the hammers as the logo. I know they did this last season for their third kit. But overall, it's a bit less of an improvement than the home kit, but I think it works very nicely though. Moving into the top 5 now, and starting off in 5th place, I've gone with the Norwich City away kit. This is another one which is quite popular, and I do quite like this, to be fair. They've gone for a nice black base mixed in with a bit of white, kind of used in the pinstripe design. It kind of reminds me of the Brentford away kit, to be fair. Nice collar as well, and I like the badge, how it looks in that kind of black and white version. 4th place up next now, and we've got the very famous Burnley away kit. I think, lots of people have seen this everywhere, to be fair. I think it's quite famous that it's been designed by JJ Watt, one of the co-owners of Burnley. It's actually quite a nice thing to watch, the documentary about him making it, and I think this does work very nicely. To be fair, I do want to put it a bit higher, but I just can't because there's a lot better kits, but this clearly is very nice. Nice fiddle pattern in the base, these nice kind of pinstripe hoops, almost similar to the Leeds home kit. I think it works quite now. I can't tell. I think that's a green used alongside with that claret, which obviously matches the retro badge, which I've always been a big fan of that badge. I think it works really nicely, that badge. So to add it here is very, very nice. Moving on to 3rd place up next now, I've gone with the Wolves away kit. I think their home kit was brilliant, and I think this is also very nice. A nice white base mixed in with some black, very subtle kind of black painted stripe. You don't really notice it, just adds a bit of design. And a nice polo collar and cuffs with this kind of black, white and gold kind of colour scheme to it, which I think works nicely. 2nd place up next now, and I've gone with the Bolton away kit. I've got a feeling this is inspired by an older kit, but I don't think it is. I think it's just overall maroon that they've used in the past, but I think this works very nicely. Obviously the nice maroon base, some subtle pinstripes kind of baked into the base of the kit. Bits of gold, bits of black in there. I really like how that Bolton logo looks in gold, and overall I think this is very, very nice. Obviously then, that means in 1st place, without further ado, we have Sheffield United. It is the only team wearing Adidas in the Championship, so they've obviously been given the Sheffield treatment for the away kit, which I'm a big fan of Adidas doing. I think even though they're stretching down into their smaller teams, Leicester's got a Trefoil kit, I think it really proves how nicer these kits look. I think the badge itself does definitely help out with the kit, but the design is very nice as well. Nice simple kind of white base. They've gone for this nice black and red kind of designed diagonal weird stripe thing, sash even. It's kind of been split diagonally, which I think looks very nice, a bit different, The collar and the cuffs as well, this nice kind of thick black mixing with a little bit of red in there. And I also like what they've done with the badge as well. They've kind of made it this one kind of solid black colour, and I think overall it looks very, very nice. Anyway, that is all the away kits ranked apart from the Birmingham one, and obviously we get to see the Southampton and Charlton one officially released. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.